had his name on.
Yeah, thank you. I want to get an answer first. Actually, two questions for you. Well, National Forest property, do they pay taxes?
I don't believe so.
Will that pipeline, would putting the pipeline through National Forest increase the amount of taxes for us?
Well, we will pay taxes to the state for the property value that is within Pocahontas County, even if it's in the National Forest.
Okay. The second thing is, can you provide the public, I'm a member of the press, can you provide the public with a list of those 249 property owners?
Well, those, we won't provide that list now until we get to the point where we make our filing. And once we actually make our firm filing, those landowner lists will be available on the FERC webpage.
So we can go to the webpage and get that. But we can't know ahead of time whose property is being affected. When will we know whose property, specifically whose property? See, we've got this assessor here's got this fantastic interactive map, and you give us some property names and we can tell exactly where that's coming through. Will you provide that, and when?
Well, until we get all our surveys completed and we identify the specific route we will be on, that information will not be provided to the public. And the reason being, those individuals will be notified by certified mail. They will know who they are, and chances are you will see them at our open house. I invite you there on
I'll be there.
next Thursday. We will have a lot of detailed maps, a lot of the information that you're asking.
But you will not have the names of the property owners who are going to lose their property.
Give line lists to the general public.
Give what?
The line list, we call that, we refer to that as the line list.
Okay, it seemed like that you're already sending this stuff out to these people, right? These landowners.
I'm not sure what stuff you're referring to.
You're making it very hard for us to know who the 249 parcels are. And we can tell their ownership immediately from Tom's maps. Now, why wouldn't you tell us right now who their 249 won?
That's a decision that we make.
Why do you make that decision?
There's a lot of reasons.
Would it be that you don't want us to...
There's a value for us to provide you a map.
What's that?
We don't feel that there's a value for us to provide you the map because it continually changes. The map and the line list that you see and look at today will be different tomorrow, will be different on Thursday, will be different on Friday.
So even on this Thursday, you're not going to be able to tell me where that line's coming through?
We know generally where the line is coming.
Well, I'd like to know
but
generally too.
Until we, and I'm not going to debate you, I don't think this is an answer.
No, I'm just asking for this. What if I wrote you a freedom of information and asked for this list? Would you provide it?
We're a public company. We don't have to respond.
You don't have to honor any knowledge at all.
No, we don't have to.
Wouldn't it be nice?
Let me answer your question without you answering a question.
Okay.
We, as a publicly traded company, we do not have to acknowledge Freedom of Information Act requests.
I'm glad you told me that. Save myself
all
a
public
stamp.
companies are that way, not just Dominion. So.
Well, you're wanting their land. We have methods now with the internet of finding out how the 249 are. Do you want us to route that map for you?
Hey, Mr. Alderman, there's some other people here that would like.
Well, I know they do, but he won't even give an answer to the first question.
Well, I think that's between you and him after the meeting. You can talk to him. I think that would.
Okay, thank you, Bill.
I appreciate it. The next person on the list is Mr. Willis.
Great. Thanks, Bill, and thanks, commissioners, for staying on top of this issue. We've got a lot of people in the county, of course, that are upset about the new proposed route, which I'm not sure how many days it's been, but I think it's been less than 2 weeks that the public has known where the route is. And And it sounds like the route itself is sort of a, you know, it's moving daily because you know, they're going to run into hurdles in different places. But I want to make a few things clear about the valley we live in. You know, whether people like it or not, the tourism industry in this county, in this part of the state, is the largest job provider. You all know that. I'm not telling you anything that you don't know. I just want, you know, Dominion to understand that, and that, you know, we all love our county. We live in a unique county. It's always changing here. We're losing population for whatever reason. You know, the job thing here is always a struggle. The few good jobs that we have, we would like to hang on to them. Not that, you know, these guys are dangling some jobs out there. I don't think that there are long-term jobs. It sounds more like temporary work. A lot of you were living here when the dam was built in Virginia. That was a boom-bust scenario. You know, a lot of people came to the county and worked. A lot of people that worked here in the county, you know, learned a trade and left the county. That would be an interesting number to know how many people actually gathered up and moved on with these big construction companies. Not that that's not a good opportunity, and not that that wasn't good for them, but was it good for the county ultimately 5 years after that project was finished? You know, we all had friends that worked over there. The money was great. This is a little different project. You know, they're coming through, disturbing a lot of ground. You know, one of the most valuable assets to the state, especially this county, is our clean water. I know that, you know, we've got 2 farmers on the commission, and you guys value your water for your livestock. The rest of us out there that don't farm, we highly value our clean water that we have on our property. We drink, we flush, we bathe in, whatever. And to me, that's one of the most valuable assets we have here, above and beyond the timber, above and beyond what's in the ground here as far as minerals, is our water here. And you know, I don't know how we can really grow on that and actually benefit from that long term, but it might come to that one day. You know, we might be selling our water to some entity outside this county or state. Those days are going to come. So that's, to me, one of our most valuable assets. That, our people, our farming community here that has gone through the highs, the lows, the good, the bad. You know, we like our family farms in this this county, in this part of the state. We appreciate them, especially from a tourism standpoint. You know, people. I got a lot of respect for people that farm. We purchase a lot of grass-fed products and also produce from people that live in this county, and we want that to continue because we feel like that is a, you know, anytime we can keep this money here in the county, it gets spent here, you know, 8 or 10 times over. For them to propose to come into the headwaters of the Elk from over on the Mingo side is just ridiculous. I mean, why would you bring a pipeline onto Snowshoe's property or anyone else's property and bring this thing down? From what I can tell from looking at these maps, the proposed route, which I'm sure is going to change, is coming between the inn at Snowshoe and a daycare center. Within, I mean, you could spit on it from the Snowshoe Drive when you intersect West Virginia 66. Plus, there's huge springs that this thing would impact anywhere from Snowshoe's property all the way to Sharp's Knob. That whole zone in there is full of karst, full of caves, full of big springs, full of people with wells, people surviving off springs, whether it's a second home, whether it's a cattle farm, whether it's just people up there that are, you know, retired, that are from this area originally, that are living on a fixed income. It goes on and on and on. Plus, someone told me yesterday that the path that they're taking out of Mingo, coming up to the county line, there's 650 Confederate soldiers that are buried up on Valley Mountain Farm. I mean, I had always known that there was an encampment up there. So you've got all this Civil War activity.
Excuse me, if you can finish up.
Yeah, sure.
There's
So,
other people want to
sure. I will wrap it up. So it's, you know, it's chock full over there of interesting and unique things. You know, you all were talking briefly about property values, about, you know, generating income from the county from them contributing to our county budget. The money that we would lose as a county on people leaving, selling their property, selling their homes, selling their farms, abandoning the county is going to far outweigh the hundreds, the few $100,000 or whatever the amount is that, you know, at the end of the day, that's going to be thrown out on the table. So I'm excited that you guys see that this is not a good deal for the county. And I would ask you as a business owner, as somebody that's lived here for 40 years, property owner, somebody that pays a lot of property taxes here myself, contributing to this county, to this economy here in the county, I want you all to write FERC a letter, and I want you to ask them that we have a hearing here in this part of the county so that we can voice our concerns straight to FERC. I think hopefully they would listen to the county commission. I'm afraid that maybe some of the requests would fall short if it was from someone like myself. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Miss Bell?
Yeah, I'm also a business owner up in the Snowshoe area, and we kind of work behind the scenes. I don't know, you know, we've been providing year-round jobs in Pocahontas County for 33 years. And, you know, we work in the tourism industry. We take care of property and second homes for people. We live over in Mingo. We own 2 properties in Pocahontas County. All the property is karst. Me and my neighbors all depend on wells or springs, and everybody knows, or at least I believe most people know, that karst topography is limestone that's fractured, and the water travels through it to different places and pools and moves. And blasting through the limestone, which is what they would have to do, because in Mingo, the topsoil on my farm is 6 inches deep in places, and some places the limestone is right at the surface. There's a cave at the bottom of the hill. There's a cave above me. There's a wet water a spring that comes out, you know, when it's wet. I believe my son is an engineer who knows a lot about gas pipelines, and he said he thinks that the trench has to be 8 feet deep and 12 feet wide. And it's going up through steep terrain, and it will require a lot of blasting in the limestone. And I'm really afraid what happens to people who aren't on the path of the pipeline when we lose our water supply. Who compensates for that? What happens? You know, do they come and put a tank in our front yard that I have to fill from the fire department? There's no public water available in the area. And it is historic. You know, we live in that region where the Civil War soldiers were. When we were burying a turkey pen that was on our property a long time, we found a Civil War belt buckle and a lead ladle. You know, so, I mean, anyway, that's all I have to say, and I'm happy to hear that you feel that the impact is great. And also, I mean, for it to go down through Snowshoe and by the inn and the library, it's significant. It's hugely significant for this county. So I'm with you on what you think about the route.
Thank you. Miss Gandy?
I live over.
Looking in the other direction, sorry.
I live at the base of Snowshoe. I've looked at these maps extensively. I've blown them up, followed the route where it comes in from Mingo into Pocahontas County. I see who it impacts neighbor-wise in the Mingo Flats area. I see where it comes through Sunset Village, then onto the Keith Mace Farm. Then it goes up and it does enter into Snowshoe, comes down and impacts my brother's land, my sister's land. It will also impact me, not with the pipeline, but because of our water supply. You know, Pocahontas County is the birthplace of rivers, and we want to put a pipeline through it. It just seems, first of all, that seems so ridiculous to me. But my other problem with it, I'm not in favor of it. My other problem with it is I have a lot of relatives and friends that work in the pipeline industry. Some in the northern part of West Virginia, some in Ohio. I've talked with them a lot, as has my husband. The drugs and the prostitution that goes with these pipeline jobs is something Pocahontas County can't afford. I think our police problem would escalate so much, I don't know how as a county we could afford to control some of the behaviors of the pipeline workers, who for the vast part of them, the vast majority, will not come from this county. They come from other pipeline areas, whether it's in the Dakotas, whether it was in Texas. The jobs that would be available in this county for a 2-year period is going to be very, very minimal. The only benefit they actually offer us, the pipeline does, is some tax at the completion of this, and by then we could be so far in debt, I don't know how we get out. So I am not in favor of this. I'm not in favor of their route. They come through right beside a daycare, by a library, by the farmer's market, by the inn at Snowshoe, by the entrance to Snowshoe. Plus, so many people's homes will lose their value. These are people that live there year-round. They couldn't sell, because who wants to live by a pipeline? A 42-inch pipeline that you have no benefits from. So I thank you both. I thank all three of you for your comments and your positions. I agree with you. I'd like to see this pipeline route go elsewhere other than where it's planned now. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Wilfong.
Good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for the time to speak. I would just echo basically what everybody else has said, and instead of taking up more time echoing that, I appreciate your all's position, and I fully agree with you that the best route for the pipeline was the initial route. And one of those properties actually did affect me, and the property owner didn't have a problem in the upper end of the county. I think it's less impact on the county, obviously, as a whole, but I want to focus some questions to Mr. Orndorff, if that's okay, on the proposed project. Of the 249 property owners, do you have an approximation of the number of property owners it affects in Pocahontas County individually?
Yeah, they may have,
Jamie, if he's still standing, he might have a breakdown just for Pocahontas.
do you have an idea how many property owners in Pocahontas County, new property owners?
That number I need to get from Ryan, and I didn't bring my phone with me,
Okay.
so I'm sorry. But if you want me afterward,
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah, I think I got an email today, this morning on that, so I can have an answer.
I think that's important to know, for the county. I mean, that's what we're focusing on, Pocahontas County this year. And, throw out the number 250 scattered across Randolph and Pocahontas County.
And again,
I
the
know.
number that I give you today may not be the number and it's not that we're doing this to be shielding information, it's the process. The process continuously changes from day to day to day. So,
I understand. I was just,
yeah, not a problem.
in retrospect
Yeah,
to Pocahontas County.
absolutely do.
As far as the jobs are concerned, will this be a union job?
Typically, yes.
And it's my understanding, if it's a union job, the union requires at least 50% of those jobs to be hired through the West Virginia Union.
That's a good question. I don't have an answer.
That's typically how it goes.
Yeah.
If that's in a project labor agreement negotiated with the union, the local union.
If they're available,
So
yeah.
say typically, that's generally how it goes.
This would be a federal project, so that the right to work would not apply.
No, well, wage wouldn't apply. Right to work would apply. but they just recently did away with right to work in the state of West Virginia.
And do you have as far as the right-of-way compensation for landowners in Pocahontas County, what is an approximate value that you compensate people?
Well, every piece of property that we cross has a different value for a lot of different reasons. Timber versus farming versus other issues that are out there. So just like the numbers that we quote